Holy smoke. Am I live for once? It's been a while. Holy crap. Welcome back, everybody. Hope everyone's doing wonderful on this Sunday evening. I had to think about that for a second because it's been so long. Could I get an audio and visual check too while we're at it? There's a lot to go over this evening. There's been a lot that's been going on, and I hope everyone's been doing great. And looks like it's me, myself, and I so far. But I'm sure people are going to be coming in as we speak. So hopefully everyone's had a great week and are ready to start the new work week. It's been really busy here for me. It's been a long time since I've been on live, so I'm kind of getting in the groove of things again. And I hope everyone is going to have a great beginning of their work week. It's been so long since I've done a live that thank you, Jim's Fish, for AV Good. And hey, Aquatic Moose. It has been since, if I have like notepads here, and I have like 4 full pages of notepads to talk to you guys about tonight. So it is literally, I was looking up some of my latest shorts and YouTube videos, and the last time that I did anything was, let's see, the last video I did was on December 24th, and that was just a 5-minute video, and that was a follow-up video on the Hydra hang in the back filter. I wanted to make sure to follow up on that. And then the last short that I did was December 25th, wishing everyone a Merry Christmas. So you can tell it's been since the holidays since I've been on here. And then December 18th, I did a fish room video with some fish room changes, and I have yet to do a follow-up on that as well. But it's just been busy, and I'm just trying to get you guys all updated here. So hopefully I won't bore you guys too much. I'm still here, still hanging out. It's just the holidays got pretty crazy. To start things off, I worked the whole entire week of the holiday, so my family didn't do anything for Christmas until that Saturday. And I started getting sick, towards the beginning of that, and then I actually ended up getting really sick, and where I lost my voice completely. And it was just miserable. I'd never been that sick, in a long time. And I actually had to call off work one of the days because I was that bad. And usually I'm pretty stubborn. I usually try to go to work, even if I have like a cold or something like that, unless I'm like detrimentally ill or something like that. But that's kind of some of the reason why that I've been gone for so long, is because we did Christmas kind of like the following weekend. And then the next week, of course, during January, I worked that following week as well. And then over the weekend, we did like holiday stuff as well. So the holidays really played a whole part in that sort of thing, because I was trying to do stuff with family. And also I was just trying to get everything ready for the holidays and after the holidays. And then I got really sick. So that put me behind schedule and doing anything YouTube related. So that's kind of the reason why. Hey, Eds. So then the first week of January, I was playing a lot of like catch up between the first and second week of January. And it was just maintaining my fish room, so it was, long story short on that is everything's still happy. Everyone's still healthy. Nothing too major has gone on. I've been keeping up with my maintenance stuff, and which is good. I have one fish that's in quarantine now, that has ick, but I'm treating it as we speak, and it's doing okay so far. But a lot of it's just, like I said, just keeping up with everything. So that took a couple days, and then I went back to work, for a full 6 days in a row. And so that kept me busy. And then after that, I had to cancel the 16th because I had to work early the next day, and it was supposed to snow here because we had a big snowstorm that came through, and it hit like a big part of like the United States. It went across, I saw it was a pretty big snowstorm. And since I had to work the next morning, I got called out that late evening, around dinner time, that of coming in the next morning. So I had to get in bed really early, and I didn't want to stay up really late, and that's why I canceled that last live stream on the 16th, due to me having to work early the next morning, because I actually got up at late 3 in the morning to get at work at 4. So that way I could beat the snow, and then needed the extra help because there was a lot of stuff going on. So that's why I had to cancel that, like literally like the day of, the last minute. But I'm glad I could reschedule and hang out with you guys for a little bit and catch you up on that. So that is kind of the gist of everything that's been going on. A lot of it, like I said, has to do with the holidays and work, in a long story short. So the people who are coming in later on, or who's watching the replay, what have you, in a nutshell, it's just work and holidays. It was just a really busy time for me, and then I got sick, so that's why a lot of this stuff got delayed, and I haven't been on YouTube. And because I had like Brandon Lightcap, he was sending me messages, and then Jesse was calling me. He's like, "Hey, you still around? You kind of disappeared for like a month and a half." So I was just trying to, they were just kind of making sure everything was okay. I was like, "Yeah, I'm still here. Just been pretty busy." So that's what's been going on here. All right. Thanks, Henry, for coming in. Be careful driving. So yeah. So I'm really happy to see you guys all here tonight. I hope some of you guys who maybe watch a little bit of the replay as well, who couldn't make it tonight. There's several updates that I can tell you what's going on. There's some videos I have planned for, but they haven't been recorded yet, due to the fact of what I just mentioned. But to start things off, I actually wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about something, but there's not a whole lot of people watching or currently active in the chat. So maybe once I get more people in later, then I could talk about this subject. But it has to do with on December 8th, Venusis. If you guys know, if you're familiar with that, it's actually one of my, over here, is one of my fish actually passed away, and it was the biggest fish in my peacock and hat tank. And it was literally the controller of my entire tank. Like not too much where it was extremely aggressive, but it was basically the entire tank boss, for everybody and all the fish that was in there. And ever since he died, this tank used to be, my peacock and hat tank used to be the most civil and most calm tank, due to that Venusis being in there. And he was the biggest fish in there to begin with too. But ever since he passed away, that tank has just been a huge challenge, because everyone is just battling out for the top spot. And it's almost like every man for themselves. And it has been probably one of the biggest challenges that I've had since fish keeping, is trying to maintain this tank. And I've done a lot of different things with it. So it just blows my mind how like one fish can control an entire tank. And when it passes away, and there was no rhyme or reason why he passed away. I've talked to Jose about this a little bit, about why fish pass away, and sometimes it just happens. There's nothing you can do about it. But the reason why this tank has been so challenging is because it's like cutthroat for the top spot, and these fish I've had to remove. I've done all the tactics. I've removed fish. I've rearranged the aquascape. I've done major water changes. I've overstocked. I've understocked. Added wave makers. I mean, you name it. I give fish timeouts and put them back like a week later. Remove fish, add more fish, and put the fish back in that was originally in there. It's just been a big challenge for me, and I keep telling myself, and I've been telling this to my wife too, that and she can kind of agree with it, that how much of a challenge it's been, and we almost think that there's possibly a female in there. But like when we started removing fish and then putting different fish back in, other fish kind of gained their color back. And so we're like, well, I don't think there's a female in there that we think, because it was interesting how when we removed some of the fish and then the other fish, all of a sudden they just like brightened up. It was just crazy how they all of a sudden became someone that was like, that never existed in the tank and hardly moved, to someone that all of a sudden wants to try to get that top spot and all of a sudden brighten up the color. Like one of them was a sunshine peacock, and it brightened up like dramatically, just because of the fact that I removed fish and they're all trying to get that top spot. So you guys will, if you guys have any history owning peacock and hat tanks, and if you guys have ever had struggles like this before, or maybe you guys have just given up completely, because I've put that in my head too, to like, well, maybe I should give up completely on the peacock and half tank because it's just been that much of a challenge for me. But it's different too, because my wife and I were talking today as well that sometimes when you get fish and you get them from multiple places, like especially even if you get them from stores that are trustworthy and have a good reputation behind them, and they take care of their customers, they all come from different places and different spots, and the fish have different personalities. So it can be somewhat of a challenge anyways to know like where they came from. And this is just talking from experience. This isn't, me saying, this is exactly the right thing, but from my experience, getting fish from, from this fish store to that fish store to this home to this donation to this, OCA, convention, you have different fish from different places. Whereas the fish that I'm raising right now and all these tanks that I'm looking at here, they've all grown up from eggs, and I've raised them all up myself. And just by watching some of these tanks, you might have an occasional chase here and there, but like everyone gets along and they're all doing just fine so far. And I know they're still young, so as they get older, they might get a little bit different, but I feel like it's easier to raise up fish. And I'm hoping that's the case whenever I come up with my tank, to have all these fish that grow up together in the same environment, in the same tank. And I hope that it all works from there. So that's kind of like my initial goal is to try to get some of these fish to be all raised up together in the same tank for the rest of their lives. And we'll talk about those goals later. Hey, Tim, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. So yeah, if anyone has an experience on that, feel free to leave me a comment or let me know what you think on the chat room. Jody, what's going on? Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. So that's been my struggle bus for the peacock and half tank. It's just crazy how you have one fish pass away and then everything just kind of goes to crap after that. So I'm trying not to give up on this tank, but it's coming close to where I'm not sure what to do, because I've had to actually remove about 6 fish to try to understand this tank of where the tank needs to sit as a whole. And I've re-added some in, and it seemed to be okay. But then the minute I try to add another fish in, it just creates chaos again. I have to remove the 6 fish, which I did that today, just to test out as a last theory, because I actually did a complete aquascape where I almost removed almost all of the pieces in there and kept just a small amount of rocks, because that for peacock and half tanks, they need a lot of that swimming space, as opposed to Mbunas, they need a lot of that rock work to swim in and out of, sort of thing. But yeah, so we're on page 2 of my notes. But we'll see what happens. I mean, some of the fish that I had, which was crazy, I have a hap called a Madoka white lip, and they're known to be relatively peaceful, and this one was. And I had gotten this from a local fish store that was about an hour and 15 minutes away, I think. Hour and 20. I don't think this one was an online fish. And it grew up in my peacock and half tank, and it was probably about half the size it is now. But it grew up perfectly calm. Everything was great. It never bothered anyone. And ever since that Venusis died, it's just like something snapped in its brain, to try to get that top spot along with everybody else. And then I bought new fish. So it was just really weird how like the new fish was aggressive, but the one that was never aggressive to begin with, that has been originally in my tank when I first started, all of a sudden he just became aggressive, and now he's in a tank all by himself. So it's very interesting. I'm trying my best to keep with it, but it's been a challenge for sure. But yeah, I've done the whole timeout, tricks, wait a couple weeks and see if it works, but we'll see what happens. I'll probably more than likely for sure have to trade in at least 2, if not 3 fish for sure. There's a sulfur head peacock, or a sulfur peacock. It's all yellow. The Madoka white lip I really don't want to get rid of because I've had it for a while. And then there's a Lunacar, or a Friar Eye that's part of that as well. So, yeah. So in a nutshell, in that story, if I want to make it short and sweet, is it's challenging to keep peacock and haps if whenever you're trying to mitigate aggression, whether you're overstock, understock, change the decorations, give fish time out, and that sort of thing. All right, so you guys are chatting in the chat room. The other thing that happened too, which was a struggle, is I needed to service my Sun filter, and there's a video on it too. I released it a couple months ago, I think, but I had problems with it because of the UV light burnt a couple of the trays. So I got those replacement parts back in, and I put it all together, and I got a new gasket, but I tried to use the old gasket, and then I was having leaking problems, and then the trays weren't lining up. And with these Sun filters, they're a little older, so it's harder to find parts. I had to find parts on eBay actually, because Amazon does have some of these parts, but not all of them. So I had to go through eBay to get some of these replacement parts. But once I started putting everything together, these Sun filters are a little finicky because they have to line all the trays up almost perfectly, and the O-ring that goes on the top, it's pretty precise too, because the O-ring that I got from Amazon was like just a smidge different than the original O-ring. Like it was probably a little thicker, and also, to be fair, it's brand new. So it's that O-ring that was originally in there has probably been in there for a long time, since I first got it a couple years ago. Probably less than that, maybe a year and a half ago. Actually, I can answer that question now. A year and 11 months. So I've had that filter for a year and 11 months, and that was the first time I had replaced that O-ring, and it's been working great. So it was probably overdue anyways. And I've serviced that filter before a couple times too, or more than a couple times. So I think that O-ring was just due for replacement, and it was just used up and it was thinned out. So when I put that new O-ring on, it was just really tough to get that to seal properly, on top of lubricating all the other seals, like with the hoses and everything. So Sun, but I regret taking the sticker off the inside that shows the proper direction for the trays. Also happy I didn't get the UV one. Too many parts to fail. Yeah, that's the part that failed for me. That UV light, whenever I first got it, I never used it. Or actually, I take that back. When I first got it, when I got my Peacock and Half tank almost 2 years ago, they didn't have a bulb with it, so I replaced it. And I only use it every so often just to clear up, some, maybe some algae blooms or something like that. But then after that, I left it on a while, and then I just forgot. Well, then it burnt up 2 of my 3 trays that are in there. And it's crazy because the Sun filter is a powerhouse, in my opinion, because it's been working, and it's an older filter, but it's still working to this day, because I did a test run on it, finally, once I got everything to seal, because I spent a lot of time on this filter of trying to get it to work upstairs, and it kept leaking. And that's the last thing I want, is to have something leak. Even if it's a small leak, you don't want that to be all over the house when I leave for work for 12 hours and come home. So I spent a lot of time, replacing the seals, waiting for parts to come in, and then putting it all back together and trying to get it to perfectly seat on all those trays. But like you said, Aquatic Moose, like I love the Sun filter too. I don't want to get rid of it because it works really well, but you just have to make sure everything's aligned perfectly. And I put some different media in it too. So once I had to take some out because I overfilled it the one time. So that's why I figured it was like one of the trays was filled too much. And if it's just slightly a little bit filled too much, it'll cause the rest of those trays to be uneven, and then cause the top part to not seal correctly. So it was crazy. So that was another thing that kind of backed me up on YouTube, is messing around with that Sun filter. But anywho. Alrighty, so we have Fathoms in here. I'm back. I'm back, and hopefully back for good. But careful driving. So I appreciate you stopping by and listening in, my friend. Let's see, what else? What else have I gone through? I'm on page 1.5 of my notes. Or am I at 2 now? No, I'm done with page 2 of all my notes. So yeah, that Sun filter was interesting. The Hygger filter I wanted to talk to you guys about, the one that Jesse got. I was messing around with that too, and I really wasn't what's he doing on here? Yeah, we'll ask you that too. The Higher filter, the canister hang on the back filter. It is the most unique filter I've ever used. It's even more unique than when I first opened up my FX4 for my Peacock and Hap tank and FX6 for my Frontosa tank. So, I don't know. It was interesting. I was kind of thrown off on it by a little bit because it was really weird to set up. And if you haven't checked out Jesse's videos, I'd highly recommend doing so on that filter. He had a little bit of issues with it from the beginning, but I believe what he got was an older version, so he got a new one. And apparently I was sent the new one already, in a long story short, because we were emailing back and forth between Higer, both Jesse and I. And I think he was going to do an update. I can't remember if he did a second video or not. I'd have to look into that and see. But I still have that hang in the back Higer canister filter. But I had trouble with the clips on the back. The jaws on the clips are very thin. So it had a hard time holding on to the tank on the front and back sides of the around the rim of the tank. So those kept slipping. So I didn't like that. And then the skimmer on top. I've never used a skimmer before, so I was expecting this thing to, like, from the videos I saw before putting this thing together, that you would think the skimmer would do what it's supposed to and skim the top of the surface, no problem, and it barely does it. So there was a lot of weird things about this filter that, like, I didn't really care for. And I noted these in the email back and forth with Higer. And originally I thought I got an old one. Well, it turns out when I actually had a newer one, but it just wasn't working correctly. So once I emailed them and they got with their, at least they got with their team and they told me, hey, here's some tips that get you to get this filter to work correctly. I kind of followed up on that, and I finally got the itch to put it back on my 46 bow front. And it's running currently now, because right now that hang in the back cannot run that 46-gallon bow front with that many fish in it. Because it just can't keep up. It just can't keep up with the detritus and the fish waste and all that other stuff that goes along with your fish tank. So it's on there. I'm going to maybe create a short on it, maybe, since now you can make shorts for 3 minutes. Or I should make a TikTok account now that TikTok's back online again. Thanks, TikTok. That was a good joke. You cancel TikTok for less than a day and the whole world goes crazy. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I never had a TikTok account, so I've always just been YouTube and Facebook. And I mean, I have Instagram, but I'm not really that Instagram savvy either. So, but yeah, so that's kind of the update on that. There's a lot more to go through as well. Mission accomplished. But some good news is that I finally got, not right now, but I ordered some stickers. And I should have done this a long time ago, and I just never got around to it. So I did order 100 stickers. So I'm hoping that I can, get some samples and some stuff out now that I'm, like, fully monetized on this channel, which I haven't got anything anyways yet. But those tacos were so sad. Yes, they were. But I did get some stickers. So I'm looking forward to getting those. I got a set of 100 from Sticker Mule. Since this is my first time ordering stickers from this company, Mike Loves Life Aquatics was the one that recommended them to me. I know that some other people have we probably reminisced in the past several times about different companies, but I think this is the one that stood out to me, and I decided to go with them. And if I like them, I'll probably get more. And if not, I might be trying another company. We'll see how this goes. So that's why I just ordered 100 for now, and then we'll see how those go. And hopefully, in the meantime, I can get some samples and some stickers, and then I can start doing some giveaways, because I've never done a giveaway before with a spinning wheel. So I might have to get a hold of maybe either Zen or anyone else. Maybe Jesse might be able to help me with that as well, or even Vibes. He's done that before with the wheel. So maybe one of these days, whenever I get my stickers and some samples and a couple other things that I have plans in the works in the future, then we can start doing that on my live. And I think that'll be a lot of fun because I've never done that before. So I'll have to learn how to do that, and someone will have to show me how. I'm sure it's not that hard and not that difficult to figure out. But yeah, I got some stickers. I also got something else that was recommended by Jose, Joy of Fish Keeping. And it's going to add a little finesse to the fish room. And I got to figure out where exactly I want to put it. Because I would like to do some live streaming upstairs with my Frontosa tank, because I still have yet to do that, and I haven't. But I just want to get some things organized, and it's a little weird to do things upstairs because we have a really big giant window that I'm probably gonna have to cover up, because it creates a lot of daylight and reflection off the tank, and you'll be seeing like all the cars drive by and everything that's happening outside because of that giant window that's right here, where the tank is like right here, and the window is over here, so it has a lot of reflection in the daytime. Whereas at nighttime, I have to have all the lights on, and the lighting's not that great up there either at night, without me buying like professional lighting and whatnot. So I'll have to figure it out. Then you're saying the Fish Fam wheel is pretty easy. If you're live, you just go to the wheel page and find your live in the drop-down list. Okay. Well, maybe we have to try that then. I appreciate your help on that. It seemed like it was pretty simple from what I watched before. So I'll have to log back in. Maybe after my live stream is done, I'll look on that Fish Fam link again, because it's been a while since I've actually even been on the Fish Fam link website, and I'll check into that. So I will make a note of that after my live, and I can do that now. Wheel page, find live, and then drop down list. Thank you. But anyways, hey, Mom's in here. Thanks for coming in, Mom. And you can enter a hashtag or keyword. Yeah, I remember that hashtag or keyword. So I'll write that down as well. Hashtag or keyword, and then refresh before you spin. Okay. And if anything, I could rewatch this live too for myself. Self-explanatory. Sounds good. Appreciate it. What time did you come in, Mom? Just out of curiosity, because I've said about half of what I've gotten to say so far, and then we're gonna go from there. But let's see. Anyways, moving back to my my thing that I was going to add a little finesse to the fish room is it's something that Jose, Joy Fish Keeping, that he ran it by me a while back. It was right before the holidays. And just because the things got busy and I was focusing on buying things for Christmas and stuff like that, and I finally got around to looking back into this. And I bought this item, and I'm really excited to share it with you guys whenever it comes out. So that way, whenever I get it and set it up, I can do it on my next live stream. And that was my whole purpose of getting this, so I could present it to you guys during my live streams. So, oh, okay. Well, Mom, you should have told Dad that, are you getting on Joe's live? Because he's on right now. But yeah, Mom, I just, there's a lot I talked about, but right before he came in, I just said that I'm getting some stickers, and I'm getting something for the fish room that's going to be really exciting. That I spent a little bit of money on, but I'm really excited to do it on a live stream. So, and there's a few items that came with this other item that Mom and Dad, that I'm going to have you guys have as well, to put in your guys' office or house or whatever. So, all right, sounds good. But yeah, stickers, I got a neat item that's coming up, so I'm really excited about. And then let's see here. What else has happened? Talked about the hydro filter. Lost my place on my notes here. And my main thing also too is that I got interested into I guess my goal, I should say, is to get rid of all my small tanks. That's my goal of 2024 2025. Oh, yeah, 2025. And to replace those small tanks, I wanted to have one big, large tank. So that way, all the males and stuff that I've been raised up since they were in egg tumblers that are growing up now are going to be in one big tank. And then I'm going to be moving my Central and South American fish into another big tank on the other spot. So that requires a lot of fish movement and a lot of time and a lot of planning to do all of this. So I was looking around on Marketplace for a while and I saw this 220 gallon tank. It was really nice. It had a stand with it. It had a canopy that goes on top, lights and everything. And it was presented as a peacock and half tank. And then it went away. So I was like, all right, well, no big deal. I saved it and then it just kind of went away. And then a couple weeks later, maybe less, it showed up again. So I saved it. And then eventually I got a hold of the gentleman. He's a very nice guy. He's about 35 minutes from my house. We met up with him and he sold all his fish, so it wasn't filled up, but he was generous enough to fill this tank up for me to show that it wasn't leaking or anything like that, which is very nice. And he told me a lot of stuff that he had with it, and he gave me the substrate with it. It has an aqua decor background and everything, just like my Frontosa tank does. But I ended up getting it from him, and it was a big haul for my brother and I to go up there, but we ended up using my dad's van. He has a work van that's like this 220 gallon tank. It's 6 foot long, but it's 2 feet wide, and I think it's 30 inches in height, I believe. But it's a beast, and it's not like Aqueon or Top Fin like that. This is a fish tank from Glass Cages. So it's a pretty beastly tank. It probably weighs over 300 pounds is my guess, just the tank alone in itself. So it's a nice tank. Yeah, this is a big one. This is almost twice the size of one that's upstairs. So obviously this is going to be sitting on concrete floor. But we went out, and the gentleman that we went out with, he had some help. It took 4 of us to put it in the van, and then we put the stand in the back, and there was just enough room for it. But when we got to the house, man, that was the biggest challenge I think I've ever had, bringing in a fish tank into the house. But with just my brother and I, and it took 4 of us to load the fish tank in because the stand was nothing, it only took 2 people to do that. But my brother and I, man, it was, let me, long story short, you never realize how useful 2x4s are when you're doing projects and stuff, because it was a little bit of movement here, a little movement there, a shimmy here and a shimmy there. Move the fish tank a little bit, move the next 2. Like we had like several 2x4s, and we were just moving them closer and closer to the doorway. We tilted the tank out of the van and put it on the 2x4s, and we're shimming it back and forth between the both of us. And then we were just shimming the 2x4s to get closer to the door to go down the short flight of stairs that I had and into just 2 skids down here in the basement it's sitting on right now. It was crazy. But it was a beast. I mean, I cannot believe that we figured out, because him and I almost gave up, because we actually kind of took it out of the van a little bit, and it was really heavy, and we were both holding on to it on just the one side. And then we ended up putting it back into the van because we kept thinking, it's like, man, we're so close, but we don't want to give up. And I was actually in the process of, getting a hold. I had my phone out, I was looking through, trying to see if I should call people and see who was available, because Sunday was available too. And this was on Saturday, which was yesterday. No, I take that back. It was Saturday. So it was yesterday. I said, we also have Sunday if need be. But yeah, I'm very surprised. Oh, I was so tired after that. Yeah, I think I went to bed early that day because my body was so sore. I wonder how my brother felt, because it was like anything that I picked up the rest of that day, it was like you could do it with relative ease. But we basically shimmied the tank down to the stairs, and we were able to slowly go step by step. And then we were both able to go down to the very bottom, just kind of shimmy it down and use the 2x4s again at the bottom of the stairs, and then shimmy it on to the skid and get everything down here with just my brother and I. And I'm like, holy cow. Like when my brother, when we were done, we're like, when we put this tank in your fish room to its permanent location, we're getting 4 people to do it. I said, I don't blame you because I don't want to do that again. Hey, Jose, I was just talking about you earlier. Jose, don't tell anybody about what I got, okay? Because I'm making it a surprise of what I ordered and what you and I were texting back and forth. I mentioned it briefly about something I'm putting in my fish room, but I'm going to make it a surprise because I want to kind of have it, show up whenever I get it. I want to do it and be like, hey guys, check out what I got. This is what I talked about in my live stream a little bit ago. But yeah, a 220-gallon tank, and it's going to, the plan is to house my peacocks. I say mostly peacocks and hats that I have grown, because my whole plan, like I said, in 2025 is this probably won't happen till maybe around, let's see, probably about April or May is when I'm probably going to start getting ready to get this tank up and running, because I have a busy schedule next month, and then the following month there's only a few days to work with, because on my long break from work, I'm actually going on vacation to Florida to go visit Dad, and Mom's coming with us. So that'll be a fun short trip. And then after that, when April comes around, when I have more time to gather everything I need to and get everything set up, and then move everything over, plan everything out, sort of thing. Yes, Jose, I did. Thank you for that. Oh yes, if you have gotten the like, could we fix that, please and thank you. Thank you, Zen. Hey Jim, thanks for coming in. Hey Jim, how's the females doing? How's all the females doing? Are they behaving over there in your house? Since you have so many females over there, are they all doing well and not driving you crazy over there, being the man of the house? But oh, that's unfortunate. It didn't make it, huh? I'm sorry to hear about that. I was really hoping that one was going to make it. But that is unfortunate. But I'm sorry to hear about that. All your Severums are doing okay. I moved the Pleco into my 46-gallon bow front because I feel like it's big enough to be able to be over there now. But the Severums are growing. They're like a smidge bigger than when I got them from you last time. So I do hope that all the rest of those females make it, Jim. Are any of them holding currently? I'm curious. But yeah, this has been an eventful last month and a half or so. So that's why I haven't been around, because of everything that I've explained to you guys tonight. Flatbed Aquatic says, I swear Jim's voice is like Mary White to my angelfish. Oh, see, now you're getting babies. That's perfect. That's wonderful. I'm so happy for that. That's good. That means if they're healthy and they're active and they're doing well. Let me ask you this, Jim, is that giraffe Venusis, is it holding by chance? I might be curious, and maybe having one of those if it's a male in the future, because you and I are going to have to maybe talk and see, because I couldn't get that female Venusis to hold fry that was how do I explain this? Like the eggs weren't like fully fertilized. So hopefully, I'm curious to see if maybe that she's holding or not. But yeah, so it's been a busy month and a half for everyone else who's stopping by. In a nutshell, today, or this past month and a half, and in a nutshell, explaining tonight is the holidays are busy for me. Work schedule got busy. I got sick. So that took up a lot of my time to be here on YouTube. And then after that, I was supposed to do a live stream, and that got canceled. Things got busy in the fish room just by normal upkeep and maintenance and that sort of thing. So the days that I had off, I'm maintaining all my fish tanks. So everything's still good. I had some repairs I had to do with a Sun filter. I finally got that Higer filter working. That was interesting. And then my Peacock and Half tank is just completely upset at the moment. But I'm trudging. I'm trying to get through it. It's, like I said, been very challenging, and I don't want to give up on it yet. But it's just been a real hard time for me with that tank, and I'm trying to figure it out. And it's just a matter of trying to get it to work, and it's been frustrating. So hopefully this year will be a good year for me, and everything will work out for me. You said the Venusis didn't have a good batch. I had that problem too. I think it held for me twice when I had it. The first time it came out really clumpy. And then the second time I had eggs, and then there was probably, I think, like maybe 10 or 12. And like 4 or 5 of them, they were kind of like more like a white, so I didn't think they were going to make it. But the other ones looked solid. But as I put them in the tumbler, and after about 3-4 days, and the other ones started getting white too. So it just seems like they weren't fully fertilized. So I had that problem too, Jim. So don't feel bad if you don't get anything. Jose says, hi, Mom. So that's kind of in a nutshell of what's been going on this evening and the last couple months. So it's going to be an interesting year. My goal is to get those 2 big tanks. One that I have currently, like I mentioned, I have 9 10-gallon tanks that I'm going to eventually at some point put up for sale. And it's just going to be like, hey, first come, first serve. Your tank is going to come with the tank, the substrate, the decorations, the filter, the heater, like basically everything you want, the light to get your tank started up and running. And I'm going to probably just put it for like $30. And then I have six 20-gallon longs. I might end up keeping 1 or 2 of them though, just for quarantine purposes. But same deal, and I'll probably sell it for like, I don't know, $60 or so. I like the footprint of the 20 longs though. But it's basically by the summertime, I want to have my 220 up and running. So that way, whenever activities start, summer activities and stuff, and things get busy again, that I want to be able to spend more time doing outdoor activities and fun stuff outside, and being able to come down here in the evenings and stuff, do my YouTube stuff, live streams, and not to spend so much time on each individual tank. It's going to be easier on me, and I want to stay below that line of where the fishing becomes work and not so much fun. So that's why I had to quit my breeding process, and I gave the female fish to Jim here, who's been kind enough to take them for me and continue my process, and then get Severums in return. So if you guys haven't checked that out, both him and I have come out with videos, and we're briefly a guest on each of our videos, which was neat. We met up at this place called Ocean Rift Aquatics, and it was nice to meet Jim. Jim, I hope you're doing well. And I heard from Jesse that your surgery isn't until the end of this month, so I hope that all goes well. And like I said, Jim, if you're still in here, if you need anything, you can give me a call. If you need help moving things or any type of maintenance or anything, feel free to get a hold of me, and I can try to work within my work schedule and try to help you out if need be. I'm sure you have other people that are offering as well, which is good. But if you need anything, just let me know. That's what I'm hoping for, Mom. Because right now, before you came on here, I just had a big discussion about how my giraffe cichlid died. The one that Uncle Pat, that was his favorite. This tank has been the biggest challenge since that fish has died. And that tank, like ever since that fish died, everyone has been cutthroat for that top spot. And it's almost like every man for themselves. And I've had to remove 6 fish, add fish, remove fish. I've had to do so many things to this tank to try to get these fish to get along, and it's been brutal. It's just amazing how one fish can control a tank, and then when that one's gone, it's like, well, now what do I do? Because these fish are just going to be at each other's throats, or pretty much they'll lock lips. That's how bad it's gotten sometimes. So, but I'm hoping with this 220, my whole plan is for everyone to get along, because the fish I'm putting in there they've all grown up together, in these tanks. And even then, when it comes time to put them in this big tank, that they're all going to be relatively small and they're all relatively the same. They're most of them are going to be OBs. It's pretty much going to be an OB tank for the most part. And that'll be an accomplishment for me, that at least I can see that I can monitor all the fish like I do now, and I can see them all grow up all together with all relatively the same size, from the same, water temperature, the same parameters, and they're all in a busy tank. So I think that kind of helps them to be in the atmosphere of having an overstocked tank, kind of like how I have everything now. And that's kind of the plan with this tank. So yeah, it's no joke that their leader's gone, and without him, everyone has just gone nuts. I've rescaped the tank upstairs. I've added fish. I've removed fish. I've overstocked. I've understocked, overfiltrated. But yeah, it's been interesting. It's still a challenge. I have so many fish in different spots right now, and due to the stress of the tank that has had, I have one fish in quarantine that's currently has what's called ick, and I'm treating it now due to, I'm assuming, the stress levels, because it's never had ick before, and I haven't had ick in my peacock and hep tank in a long time. And I treated the whole tank for it. And everyone, once I started losing a couple of fish, I treated the whole entire tank, and then I didn't lose any fish after that. That was a while ago, though, so I haven't seen ick at all since, or until now. So, and thankfully only one fish that has it, so I was able to move him before it got worse. But yeah. Jose says, I dream of these type of cichlids, but don't keep them. The aggression is a heartbreak. Yeah. That might be a heartbreak for me too. My wife and I were talking about that briefly today. They're such neat fish, but it just comes down to, like, if it becomes too aggressive. I even told Ash, my wife, that if it becomes too bad, that I might decide to go to a different route. We're going to see how this 220 goes. That'll probably be the big test, later on this late spring, early summer, when I get everything set up and running. And once the fish start growing in that tank, then that'll be a good test run to see if I really want to stick with it. Because if I start dealing with aggression issues with that tank, then that'll probably be like the icing on the cake of saying, well, I'm probably not going to do this anymore. But we'll see how it goes. It's a whole different ball game. I know it's not the same, but that happened with my beta sorority. They were all sisters, raised together, and were great for almost a year. And one died randomly, then it was a Thunderdome. Yeah, I don't understand it. I really don't. Like, it's such an interesting thing to see happen, that how does one fish control the entire tank? And maybe it's happening with these as well, with the ones I'm raising too. You just don't know until you lose someone, because I've had fish that didn't color up because the only other thing I could think of is I was looking really, really closely at each individual fish. And I've gotten some new fish in the past, like a few months ago, to try to overpopulate the tank, to help mitigate the aggression, to have an overstock tank, like a really overstocked tank. And the places I go to were well reputable, and they sell them as males, sort of thing. But like, it came to a point to where I was questioning myself if these were actually males or not. And maybe because I was thinking, well, maybe the reason why I'm having so many problems is because I have one female that they mistaken for a male. And that's why this whole tank has gone nuts. Because the one Venusis that died controlled everything comfortably. And since he died, now they're all groomed for that top spot, and there's a female. But I really don't think there is. But because it's crazy how these fish color up. There was one fish that I got, it's a sunshine peacock, and it was a relatively small, but it's still, when I got it at the store, it was in a tank by itself, and it was very calm, and it had the yellow color to it still. Well, it was technically with another fish, but there was a divider in it, and it wasn't being aggressive toward the other one at all, but it was still a bright yellow. When I put it in with this tank after it was done with its quarantine period, it was like dark striped, the yellow completely lost its color. And then, so I was thinking, well, I took him out during the whole aggression period of adding these 6 fish in to try to mitigate the aggression because this Venus is dying. And it was completely dark. So I was thinking, well, maybe this one is a female. It just had a little bit more color than I thought at the fish store. Well, then when I started, trying to solve this whole problem with aggression, I took that sunshine out and then I put him back in later, and it like brightened up completely. And then it started being, putting aggression toward the other fish. So it was just amazing to see the color. I was like, well, that one's definitely a male for sure, because I'd never seen it that bright of yellow since it's been in my house. So, but yeah, aquatic. I'm pretty cool with it, or I'm pretty cool with it. I'm pretty stoked about it too. It's going to take a long process, and I know Jesse has a big one, a big tank that he wants to take care of as well, and get that glass on there and get that thing set up. But something this big is going to take time, and for me, it's going to take time because I have my dragon cage is going to be in the way, and there's no way I'm going to bring this 220 gallon in with that dragon cage in the middle of my floor, because that thing's going to have to be moved, and so we can have a nice smooth move from one room to another and put it on the stand. So I'm pretty excited about it. So that's kind of my whole game plan is moving forward. Let's see how this upstairs tank goes. And I'll probably have to end up giving away at least 3 of these fish that I had, because especially 2, because the one is just a complete and total jerk fish. Like it is, there's no way you could put him with anybody. But oddly enough, the only jerks I have are guppies. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you there. Sometimes it's just personalities in fish. You might have might have some people that own peacock and halves and they have every single issue with them, and then you might have other people that have a horrible time with them. I think the older they get, their personalities change a little bit. So I might see that change as these ones get older, but we'll have to see and find out. And if it doesn't work out, then I'll more than likely transition my Central and South American tank into the 220. But my whole goal is to get rid of all my small tanks, have the big tanks, and be good to go. And that'll be like the cap of everything. That would be like my end of the line road sort of thing. Because man, if I think about it now, there's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That would be 21. That would be 22 tanks I would get rid of if I don't decide to keep any for quarantine, which I probably will. So if you think in theory, if I get rid of all my smaller tanks, I'll have to get rid of 20 tanks in my fish room, because I'm probably going to keep a couple of them, because the golden Dorados, the golden Mbunas, I particularly really love that tank. So I'm probably going to have to keep them. Jim, I mentioned this earlier. Maybe you missed it, but the Severums are doing great. I moved the Pleco into my 46 bow front, and the Severums are growing up a little bit. They're just a little bit bigger than when you gave them to me, so they're all doing well. Dragon Blood, if that's what you're referring to. I have both albino and regular Dragon Blood peacocks. I have a lot of Dragon Blood. That was actually the Dragon Blood the female that I gave to Jim, which is now passed on, that he told me today, which is unfortunate. As they get older, they mellow out, or do they get grouchier? Yeah, it all depends. With the peacock and halves, it seems like they develop more of an attitude and more of an aggression. They develop more of, like, I want this spot, or especially if there's females and they're going to fight over the females. That's why you try to have an all male peacock and half tank. But I feel like their personalities show up more as they get older. Whereas when they're little, you might see an occasional chase here and there. Like I'm watching the Dragon Cage right now, and I see one chase one around the tank. But before you know it, they're either running to the filter, they're running to the the rock work, the aquascape, or another fish, and it's only lasts like a second or two. So you might have a little bit of aggression, but that's because there's females in this tank as well. There's both male and females, and they're only a couple inches big. But that may happen if you have all males. It's less likely, per se. Okay, you guys are talking. But yeah. anyways, man, I haven't done this in a while. Haven't talked this much in a long time. I'm starting to watch. I'll lose my voice tomorrow morning because I haven't done this in so long. But oh, there's a few other things. My wife is the best wife in the world. She made, this is new. I've had this shirt, but she had these prints made over here, and she actually put this print on for me. She's going to put another one on the back, but she made this print and did it on her heat press, I think is what she calls it. But here's this. We ordered this hoodie on Amazon, and I think it was like $20. I think it's like a Hanes hoodie or something. And then there's a red cheek Trophus and a Swedish Hongi on here. I don't know if you guys can see it, if the camera will pick it up. It has price tag aquariums on it. She made this as well. And then on the back, of course, you have my logo here. And it says, "Let's get sophisticated," which I've been meaning to say that phrase for a while, and I just keep forgetting about it. But yeah, we got this hoodie that she made for me. And then we got this shirt here, which is, she's going to put the same back logo on this one as well. So, and I actually pulled an old hoodie away that I forgot about. And I was like, hey, can you put this graphic on this hoodie too? And she put another one of these ones. It's a little different as well. It's got different fish on it. And it says price tag aquariums on it. So that's pretty cool. So she's really good at that. You know, it looks really nice too. It's not like something that was just cheaply made. It looks really like professional. So I'm really happy that my wife was able to do that. But anyways, that's kind of in a nutshell of what's been going on lately. I'm glad I'm back and I was able to spend some time with some of you guys. I don't really have much else to say. Yeah, she's definitely a helping hand at the house for sure, especially whenever I'm gone at work and she's able to feed the fish for me and makes shirts and hoodies for me. And I'm looking forward to getting the stickers that I ordered from Sticker Mule. I'm looking forward to the item that I got on order that Jose that got. Maybe someday in the future, Jody, that maybe I'll come out with some merchandise that people can buy on a website. Because I think I think that the guy that told me about Sticker Mule. Why can't I think? I said his name earlier. Why can't I think of it now? I know that he created his own link to make his merchandise available to buy. So maybe that would be like a far future plan for 2025 to be able to do that. But for now, it's nice to be able to do this. And maybe we'll have to make some more in the future for like friends and family and relatives and stuff like that and go from there. Or maybe I can do a giveaway. Maybe I could get like, hey, I'll buy a hoodie for you and we'll put a price tag aquariums graphic on it. And then we can do a giveaway that way. I think that would be kind of fun too. So that way it helps get me out there to where you guys live. And then it helps me out too by, you know, it's just a lot of fun for both of us to do. So yeah, it's been fun and busy, but I really wish the best of luck to myself for my Peacock and Half Tank. I'm trying really hard to make it work, but between that and getting these 220 rolling, that'll pretty much be the biggest test, is to see if it'll work or not. And if not, then I'll definitely be using it as my Central and South American tank, because these fish are going to get bigger and they're going to need the room. So I think you were saying that female are the root of all evil. Sometimes, not all the time. Funny though, Jose. Yeah, I appreciate it, Jody. I would much appreciate it. We'll see though. We kind of have to. I think she has to get more graphics though, because I think she has one more graphic that she's going to put on the back of this shirt, and then we're going to have to order more. But that heat press is pretty neat. Jose says, I don't have a merch store, no, but that's my plan. Maybe in like the far future of maybe like mid to late 2025 to do like a merch store. And if we get into it enough that we can do it that way, we can just buy some hoodies like I described. I think this was like $20, and I think the shirts were. Oh, we made that's right. We made instead of being hoodies, we just got like long sleeve shirts too, like crew necks and stuff that she can do as well. And the prints aren't that much either, so we'll see what happens. But thank you for the good luck. I appreciate it. I'm gonna need it because it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna hopefully. I was trying to get a my fish room updates. My one video I had. I was trying to do another one today, but then I ran into complications with my peacock and half tank, so that kind of set me back. And I wanted to give you guys an update on how these are going. So maybe if I have time before I start my night shift tomorrow, I can get a short video rolling of like how everything's going so far and what the future plans are, and that sort of thing, in a video. So that way people don't watch the live stream or don't watch it fully, or maybe missed it today and they see the video. It's kind of like essentially what I talked about tonight throughout this hour of me talking is kind of like my updates of what I plan to do in the future and my fish room changes. So hopefully I can make a little brief video of my updates, how things are going right now, and what the plans are as like part 2. Because I'm hoping it'll be this 220 gallon that I have is a whole series that I want to try to do. And I've only done, like I said, the part 1 of rearranging some tanks and substrates and stuff. And then that 220 is going to be like the final video. I wanted to make videos of getting the 220, but it was difficult because it was just my brother and I, and it was snowing, and it was I don't really want to like say like on Marketplace, you know, these people that I don't know them, I don't know if they'd be comfortable with them being on my YouTube channel. And that's just something you don't really want to ask someone. So I want to be professional about it and make sure that I just stick with just, hey, I'm interested in your tank, and then we can go from there, sort of thing. But it was also snowy, so I didn't really want to try to record things while we're getting the tank and stuff. No, it'd be different if I ordered from a website and I got this tank brand new, and then it came to my house. I would do a whole recording of it, kind of like I did with the Aqua Decor. It came to my house, I set it up, I did an unboxing, and then I set the whole tank up. It'd be different. But I think what I'm going to end up doing is whenever I get that 220, start to get things wrapping up and ready to put in its spot, then I'll start doing recording, and I'll keep adding on to my fish room changes as a multi-video series. So probably my next video on my fish room updates is probably just going to be a short video of an update of what I've discussed tonight. So that way, if anyone missed it, they can kind of update themselves. But yep, I think I'm going to head off here. Thank you, Jody. Thanks everyone else. Thank God for our ladies. Yep, that's for sure. I'm going to hop off here. So thanks again for hanging out and watching. I'm going to get going here. It's been about an hour. I've talked a lot and I'm out of breath. It's been a while since I've done a live stream. So maybe I will see you guys soon. Maybe next weekend, I'm thinking. And we'll go from there. So have a wonderful evening. Have a safe beginning of the work week. And take care. Be safe, be happy, and don't let the cold weather bite you in the butt, because it's going to for me this week. Hopefully not, though. But have a good one. Take care.